This is according to Revolt. It says Kendrick Lamar is holding it down as the only rapper nominated for Artist of the Year category at this year's VMAs.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar is the only rapper nominated for Artist of the Year at this year's VMAs. Now,
Okay.
I wanted to look up the other people nominated,
I
but
was just about
even
to ask.
without looking that up, I think this is really interesting.
It's interesting. I wonder who else should have been. If people think, if there's a point being made that Kendrick is the only rapper, I
Hmm.
also think that's strategy. But who should have been in that category as well? I guess is my question.
So Google says, and then I'm going to find an article to back it up. MTV announces VMAs. Oh, I got it. This is according to CBS. CBS got a list here. Artist of the Year nominees. It also says who they're signed to, and that's really weird. But anyway, Artist of the Year, I guess it's in alphabetical order. Yes, it is. You got Bad Bunny.
Makes
You
sense.
got you got Beyonce.
Hmm.
You got Kendrick Lamar. You
Okay.
got Lady Gaga. You got Morgan Wallen,
I don't know who that is.
Taylor Swift, and The Weeknd.
Who else was supposed to be in that category? Would you swap anybody in? Because I know the
I don't know.
conversation about is about rappers specifically. A female rapper, maybe.
I just think that I think there are certain awards who do not care about our participation or our inclusivity. Um, I cannot name an artist off the top of my head who should be in there as a rapper.
Hmm.
Um, but I just think that they don't really give a fuck. I think they feel like, hey, we got one, that's enough. And he probably won't win if we're being honest. And so I feel like
Hmm.
it's kind of the token rapper. We're gonna put one of them in there so they can't complain. And I just feel like, okay, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on this because I also don't know what their requirements are for
Thanks.
someone to be an artist of the year. So maybe if I had that, I could give more information. Maybe that's something we can revisit because the awards are September 7th, which is around the corner. And so maybe by then we
Yeah.
can look it up and figure out what it is that is their requirements. But in the meantime, I don't know what the requirements are, and so to me that makes it difficult to have a real opinion here. Just as a person who loves the hip hop culture and is part of it in more than one way, I just feel like they don't give a fuck. So, yeah.
It sounds like when you read that list, it sounds like they chose the best of the best.
Hmm.
Um, it's like they. I honestly don't know who Morgan Wallen is. I'm sorry, I don't.
Let me look her
But
up.
as far as everyone else goes, and I'm sure that person is a huge star. I'm not familiar. Um, Maybe I know their music and I don't realize.
Oh,
But
it's a guy. First of all, I thought
okay,
it was a woman. It's a guy. Morgan Cole Wallen is a country music star from Sneedville, Tennessee. Who first gained recognition on season 6 of The Voice in 2014.
okay,
So that's why we don't know.
I did not know him. Like I said, I'm sure he's a huge star, but that's what it sounds like to me. It doesn't really sound like there was a whole lot of variety in this list anyway. So I'm hearing the full list. I'm actually not surprised that Kendrick Lamar is the only rapper. I also don't know who I would put there if they were to take
Okay.
someone out and say add another rapper. I don't know because we're talking about in the past year. I,
Mhm.
I don't know who to put there that would be of the same caliber as the other people in the category if that is the benchmark. I'm not saying it should be the benchmark. I'm just saying it is. You got Beyonce, The Weeknd, Lady Gaga, Kendrick Lamar is at the tippy top of his game right now and has been for over a year at this point. I don't
So I
know.
pulled. I'm
Hmm?
sorry. Go ahead. No, no,
So
finish. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know who you put in that category to who's the person. I'm not saying this person doesn't exist. I just can't think of anyone right now who holds a candle to, like, they made it an impossible list if you ask me.
Well, I pulled up last year's list
Okay.
because you talking made me curious. Well, what did last year look like?
Same
Last
people?
year was last year was Sabrina Carpenter, Eminem, SZA, Bad Bunny,
Interesting.
Ariana Grande, and
Uh-huh.
Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift won and made history
Yeah.
because it looks like she won back to back.
Well, those other people couldn't win. And that's why I'm saying, like, I honestly feel like the list this year is more balanced than the list last year because it actually gave an opportunity to people who are huge stars, but maybe not as big as the people in this year's in this year's roster. Who else do you put? You're almost setting people up for failure, putting them in that category. It could be looked at a different way. I understand that. It could be looked at as they're up there in the ranks with all of these people who are considered the best of the best. But I'm also like, whenever it comes to the top award at these award shows, it's just kind of like the popularity contest. It's not really ever about, it almost becomes, they almost make it impossible for it to be equitable for most people. So I don't even know, like, honestly, I don't care. Um, I know this is a topic that we had to talk about and should talk about. I agree with that. But
Hmm.
I don't care about this because I just feel like it's never going to be fair. It's never going to be balanced. In I don't know. These people could easily
Yeah,
also
to me,
be
this
put
points at
in an
the
artist of the
importance.
decade category. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
they're always going to be, because what you did was you set it up last year to make sure Taylor Swift won. I'm not saying it's rigged. I don't know that. But what I'm saying is that
Mm-hmm.
list, who was supposed to win that? Also, this year, okay, again, I feel like this year's list is a bit more fair in the sense that Bad Bunny, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, Kendrick Lamar. Oh, I'm again, I don't know who Morgan Wallen is, but I'm sure is up there. Those would be the only people who could compete with each other for us to be like, okay, I get it. I don't know.
Sure. I just think it makes the to me this points at the importance of us having our awards, right?
Yeah,
Because then we don't have to focus so much on not being included or
yeah,
there not being enough incentive. Instead, we can say like, hey, this is where we recognize each other, and we know the voting system is more about things that we would fall in line with or things that we feel are more fair based on the genre. And so
right.
because even the same thing could be said of Morgan Wallen, right? If he's the only country artist, I don't think Taylor Swift is considered country. I think she's considered pop. So if he's the only country artist, you could say the same thing. Like it's kind of unfair to him, where it's like if he's the only country artist, how's he supposed to win against those monsters? Right? And so I think
They
that's why you
consider
gotta
Taylor
rock with
country.
like, okay, okay, then if I'm wrong, that's fine. But I'm just saying
Her,
to me it points to like why we should do the genre based awards more so than the overall quote unquote awards because they seem to be focused on very different things. And I think it becomes unfair because also genre to genre, people don't sell the same genre to genre. Like the average amount of record sales and impact are not the same across all genres, which is why we never heard of Morgan Wallen, right? Like, we just not going to hear about that. Not because we don't have our ear to the ground, but because that genre, it doesn't make enough noise today for us to hear about most of the people in the genre. It's not a knock to country music, or it's not saying that country music sucks, but it's like, who's the number one person in jazz right now? I don't fucking know, and I'm probably never gonna know, because the amount of record sales in jazz and the amount of buzz in jazz is very different than pop. No, I don't listen to Sabrina Carpenter, but I've been hearing about her for a long time because she's a pop
Yeah.
artist and she gets a lot of push and gets a lot more record sales than someone else in a smaller, quote unquote, smaller genre. And so I just think that these awards are very seldom apples to apples. And so it's like, if you're going to compare apples to strawberries and mangoes and bananas and grapes, it's like, well, then I don't really know who's the best. Like, it's too hard to say the best fruit is, because even by sales, you can't access those fruits at every place you go, right? Like, every store doesn't
Right.
have a mango. So what happens to the mango? It's just like, well, mango could never win fruit of the year because everyone doesn't have access to mangoes. It's like, well, then why? Like, what are we supposed to do? Where's the mango awards? That's what I want to know. Like, and that's what it makes me feel like. How's mango supposed to get any real shine then? I don't even
Yeah.
like mango. I just felt like that was a proper analogy. I'm not
No,
caping for mangoes. I'm caping for genre-based awards.
no, I got it. I understand. I actually like mangoes. But I was gonna say, to your point about country specifically, I feel like country music is a different beast. And the reason I say that is because I feel like the country community is very separate, right, from all the other genres. I feel like they have their own community, like their awards are separate. They're like, everything around country is very separate from everything else. We often don't, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing for people who are both into country music or make country music, but we often don't have a whole lot of conversations about country music within the conversations we're having about all music. Country kind of gets, or country kind of exists on its own in a way. Again, not saying
Hmm.
it's a good or a bad thing. I just feel like that's how country music is. I feel like the people who are into country know everything about country. The way we know everything that's going on with pop and hip hop and all of those things. And the people who make the music, same thing. Like, it's very much like this large, culturally it's very large, and there's a lot of community there that I don't think we're privy to, just because they're kind of off doing their own thing, but it's huge
Yeah.
at the same time. So I don't know, that kind of just, I think honestly, in certain spaces people have are trying to be more inclusive of country at this point. um I don't know who othered country music, to be honest. I don't know if it was like self-imposed or just, and it's not to say people don't like, I just want to be clear. I'm not saying people don't like country music. I'm just saying it kind of exists adjacent to a lot of other things that are happening with music. Um because again, the CMA Awards, huge, huge. I wouldn't know who was
Yeah.
who or what was what, but I know that it's huge. And I know that the country community is huge on either side of it. So I don't know. I'm always fascinated by that when it comes to country music, because I'm like, this is as big as pop, but it's just not on my radar.
Yeah. Hollywood Reporter put out an article about Morgan Wallen and record sales. I found it while you were talking. Um, it says, since when is this article written? July 16th. His latest album, "I'm the Problem," was released in May. It has 2.562 million sales, according to his label. Um, and then says it's SOS. It says has 1.71, and then it says GNX has 1.7. Bad Bunny's latest album has 1.65. So that kind of paints a picture of the things we were talking about, just to
Yeah.
give some more context there.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know, man. I just feel like it's a weird situation. That's it. And I think I agree with what you're saying. Country has its own spot, and I think every genre does. So I just think when you do that, you have a more equitable situation and a better chance of being recognized properly within your genre.
Yeah. Agree. Um.
It's almost like the Oscars, and this is the last thing I'll say. It's almost like the Oscars, where it's like, oh, well, this independent film, it has no chance of beating out Christopher Nolan and these other films. It's like, it's how, even if it's a great film, it's very unlikely that it's going to happen. Has it happened before? Yes. I'm just speaking about probabilities and likelihoods. It's the same thing as like the super popular TV show. It's like the super popular TV show is probably going to win over the better quality show
Mhm.
of another genre, because it's kind of like you said, a popularity contest. So
Yeah.
that's my last thought.